Welcome back after the international break, and we now start the running of the 2022-23 season, starting with an away trip to Wigan. We'll focus on that one shortly, but first, let's touch back on that last defeat we had against Birmingham before the break, which thankfully actually feels quite a long time ago now to me, Dave, because as much as the scoreline was close, it was a pretty grim afternoon for QPR, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a horrible game, wasn't it? I mean, after the Blackpool one, you thought, man, keep it tight early on, try and, make a recovery, and to concede that goal in, 2 minutes, it's like, did they learn nothing from Blackpool? When there was like about four mistakes in it, Kakai give it away. They all just, Adoma dived in, they all just got sucked to the ball, all ball watching. And even when Kakai come back, he recovered and got back, he's just watching the ball and he leaves a bloke unmarked for a tap in. It's like, 2 minutes in, come on, at least be alert. I mean, it was so poor. And, like I say, it was 1-0, but it could have been 3 or 4, really, couldn't it? The end kept the score down. And going forward, we could still be playing now and we wouldn't have scored. I thought we were hopeless going forward.
Yeah, it was very poorly attacking play. I mean, we said on the last show that we didn't mind being a bit more direct, trying to play in the opponent's half, but some of the play was probably as bad as I can actually recall from QPR in recent years. It was desperate. It felt like it was literally one touch and just boom. They were just launching cannons aimlessly into the Birmingham half. And it shows that there's a fine line between us going direct and that intensity we had against Watford to win, but then what becomes what feels a bit like just hitting hope and something from a different era when we see it against Birmingham, isn't it?
Yeah, like you say, there's that being direct is one thing. That was just useless, wasn't it? I mean, just locking it long all the time. I mean, the long throws got me. They were. I mean, I felt sorry for Drew. He was taking them long throws. They didn't never once reach the 6 yard box, but all of our players were at the far post. It's like, come on, work it out that you can't throw it that far. For God's sake, someone get a bit closer. Yeah, it was the start was really poor. I mean, I really liked what we did against Watford. We were really aggressive and we were direct, but we were having shots on goal. And it was all right. It wasn't just long ball, but Birmingham was just hit and hope the whole game. And it was only really when Armstrong come on at the end that we actually had someone to run in behind to get on some of these long balls that we looked like we might score. But even then, I can't remember a chance, to be perfectly honest.
No, there was the one that like Dykes had it stuck under his feet and he stabbed it
Yeah.
wide, and Dunn had like a header that just went past the post, but it was nothing really at all. And we can only hope that the 2 week break has come at the right time for us after a 6-1 and that flat match against Birmingham. It's off to Wigan. We go on Saturday. I mean, it's such a strange fixture as well because when we played Wigan earlier in the season, it was when we were at our peak. It was the match when we started the afternoon top. We won to stay top. Beale was not going to be the first to jump ship. He was all in. And well, what a few months it's been since for both clubs. 2 wins since for QPR. Wigan have only won 2 of the last 27 matches as well. Bizarre season, like I say, for both clubs. Looking at Wigan, Liam Richardson, they had that strange situation where they gave him a 3 year deal and then binned him off 2 weeks later. They had the random pick of Colo Torre. He came in for like a Neil Critchley-esque disastrous sort of spell. And a bit like QPR, they've ended up with a former player in charge in Sean Maloney. But it just shows for both clubs that these type of campaigns where you end up chopping and changing, they just don't tend to end well, do they?
Yeah, it seems mad that if this is the same season that game happened. That feels like years ago. But yeah, they've had a hard season. They seem to have done it a few times. They've done really well to get up and then collapse when they've got here. And with the points deduction they've had, and there seems to be a lot of problems going on. A minute, talk about them not training, not being paid. It's a really tough season for them. But if you could handpick an opponent for Wigan, it'd be us, wouldn't it? Let's be honest. They could get their 3 points back a bit sharpish. But it's been a really disappointing season for them. Like you say, 3 managers similar to us, isn't it? You can't, it's not a recipe for success, is it?
Yeah, and you just said it there. They're a bit of a strange club because every time they go down to League One, they seem to romp through it. They're coming straight
Mm.
back up. But then when they're in the Championship, they always seem to be a bit of a mess off the field, and then they just seem to capitulate and go back down again. Be interesting to see with the off-field issues for them whether it's going to fire the Wigan players up, or maybe they aren't going to be giving quite the role because of what's going on. Where do you think that hangs?
Yeah, I mean, once the game starts, I think they're professionals. You'd hope they'd give it their all. You would have thought. I mean, they're in a kind of last chance saloon really now, and they're a bit adrift. They need to win games quickly. So, I think it's probably a bad time to be playing them. You probably want to play them when they're dead and buried. But they're going to be a tough one. I mean, for me, it's all about how we play at the minute. if we produce similar to Watford performance, on the front foot, aggressive, defending like a normal football team, I think we've got a good chance. Anything below that, then God help us, I think Wigan will turn us over.
I mean, we should, on paper, have a good chance. They're bottom of the table. The only team they've beaten since the World Cup break is Huddersfield. And we put up some stats this week on Twitter. They're having similar woes to QPR in front of goal. We haven't scored more than one in a game in 11 games. For Wigan, they haven't done it since before the World Cup. I think it's one of 19 games. So don't expect a goal fest, Dave.
Yeah, maybe not. But did we say that about Blackpool the other week?
Yeah. Yeah. They've actually got good draws, though, in the last 2 games. They've drawn with Watford and Coventry. So they are going to be hard to beat and probably in better form than us, obviously. I guess that brings us on to QPR. The message from the club is that the cavalry, as they keep getting called, are coming to save us. Against Birmingham, the cavalry was a return for Luke Amos. Who are you expecting to return this time?
Yeah, they need to drop this cavalry thing. Maybe wait till we've won a few games before they give it large about this. But by the look of it, from they played in the B team the other night, Willock played, didn't he? Balogun and Laird. So you would assume they'll all be involved in either off the bench or starting weekend. I think they may have possibly been held back, a few of them, from Birmingham to get them an extra 2 weeks to get ready. But I would have thought them three would be involved if they played for the B team the other night. Otherwise, what was the point of them playing there? Chair and Powell, I think, would be a bit longer. But we need these players back. I mean, we've really missed Balogun, haven't we? I mean, we've been hopeless at the back without him. You just hope he's like he was at the start of the season when he gets back.
Yeah, definitely, because he's the only one of all of them who haven't been involved in this run. All the others, to be honest, I know we want them back and it can maybe give the team a mental boost to know they're coming back, but they've all been playing in and out of form in this run. It's him who gave us the clean sheets early in the season and was like a calm head at the back. Whether he, though, is in the same place mentally playing as what he was early in the season remains to be seen, especially because Dickey and Dunn have been struggling, haven't they? And I feel like we need Field back in midfield. He's playing him in defence. It just then means teams are just coming straight through the midfield. So where's your money on that? 4 at the back, 5 at the back with Field or Balogun in?
I think he'll probably go with a 5 again with Balogun back in there, and then Field in midfield again. I think we do need to do that. He's always got the option of dropping him back in there if he needs to, if Balogun can't finish the game. But I think he'll start with that. It's probably the best of what we've got at the minute. We haven't really got many wide players, have we? So you go with the wing backs. I mean, I think Laird could be quite good as a wing back, pushed higher up the pitch. I think he could cause a few problems. But it's hard to know us at the minute. We just look so poor the last few months. I struggle to get optimistic about it.
Yeah, every time we do, we just lose 6-1 again. He maybe even as well, if Balogun isn't fit enough to start, maybe he could play Kakai as part of the 3, move Dickey in the middle and have Laird as the wing back. It just depends whether Laird is fit to start. Balogun, is he fit to start? We just don't know. Looking at the Birmingham game, the only real positive you said it was Armstrong when he came off the bench. For me, he deserves a start here. He's the only person who comes on, he gets the crowd going. He seems to give 110%. Maybe start him next to one of the big guys up front.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe start him alongside Dykes at the weekend. You can have Martin coming off the bench or Lowe coming off the bench. At least it gives you something to bring on second half. I think he deserves a start. He always seems to have an impact when he comes on. It's just whether he can. It's another one. Can he stay fit? He started the Millwall game a couple of months ago, and then he was off for about 3 or 4 games, and he seemed to pull up in that game. He just kind of needs to get a run in the side. Obviously, he needs that first goal, doesn't he? I think once he gets that first goal, he's off and running. But yeah, I agree with you. I'd start him. I thought he was quite positive when he came on.
Yeah, I think they should start him as well because I put the comment on the forum and similar to what you just put. If he can get a goal, I think he's going to go up another level just with his confidence. It's a weight off his shoulders. He'll be so confident and stuff, but he's not going to get it if he's only getting 10 minutes a match, is he? I don't know as well with Dykes. I mean, I would prefer Dykes to start to Chris Martin, but he played nearly 90 minutes on Tuesday against Spain. I have a worry he's going to be on the bench, especially because Ainsworth, he's had Chris Martin as captain. Is he really going to bench him?
Yeah, that is a possibility. Yeah, he played the whole game last night, didn't he? I wouldn't be surprised if he does that. He starts Dykes on the bench and Martin off because you've got the 2 games next week over Easter. So he might be, and plus Dykes has been off. He had pneumonia a couple of months ago, so maybe it'll be 3 games in a week for him this week when it were the 2 Scotland ones. But personally, I'd like to see him start. But, you know, you look at the games we've got left, this is a winnable game for us. You need your best team out there, really, and Dykes is in our best team.
Yeah, it's the last match we play against anyone who's less than lower than 14th. So this is the most winnable match we've got. They should hopefully go all out to try and get the win. I hope it is Dykes, but I just have a suspicion it could be Martin who plays. Prediction time, I suppose. For Wigan, we've said it's must win because they're almost dead and buried if they lose to us. For QPR, it probably falls into the category of must not lose, isn't it? Firstly, do you think either side will manage more than one goal?
No, I think it'd be a draw, probably 1-1. I just think I can't see us keeping a clean sheet, and I can't see us scoring more than one. So I'll go for a draw with this one. You know, probably take that the way things have been going. You know, really, we need to win this game to give us a bit of breathing space. But I think it'll be a draw.
Yeah, it should be a great match to win because it would put them dead and buried, and for us, it would give us a boost ahead of the remaining fixtures. But they're going to be dangerous opponents because they know that, don't they? They know they can't really lose that match. So it's a tough one to call, and I just hope we can't have another Blackpool-esque performance. But at the same time, I can't see us breezing through any match at the moment. At best, it's going to be 1-0 and squeaky bum time in the last 10 minutes, isn't it? I'd take the draw, but that stat that we've said about Wigan having scoring 2 goals since the 12th of November, whatever it was, that's scaring me to death all week because it's just such a QPR thing to do, isn't it, to end those runs for team.
Yeah, we've got that in us to throw a few in.
Yeah. Well, whatever we can see, 2, 3, or whether Wigan even probably only need 1 to beat us, to be honest. But whatever happens, we'll be back next week to preview the 2 games over Easter. Hopefully, we'll have managed to ease the relegation fears by then, though. Thank you for watching, and come on your arse.
We know who we are. You know who we are. We are QPR.